WCBI News at 5 starts now.
We have breaking news tonight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tommy Lopez. Law enforcement members in Columbus are looking for a missing child. This is just into our newsroom. Columbus police are bringing in the K-9 unit. They're looking for a 6-year-old child reported missing after being left home alone. And our Joey Barnes is live right now with an update from Columbus. Joey.
All right, Tommy, we're here at the Budget Inn just off Main Street in Columbus around the 2200 block. Columbus Police, Columbus Fire, all on scene. They're searching for 6-year-old Xavier Westbrook. Now, investigators tell me that Westbrook was last seen this morning. His mother went to work about 7 o'clock this morning, left him here with her boyfriend, and then the boyfriend went to work. And since that time, the boyfriend left the 6-year-old here. That according to Columbus Police, and the child has not been seen since. Now, currently, officers are out patrolling this area around Main Street, and also, again, Columbus Fire on the scene, and they are continuing to search for the little boy. Of course, if you have any information about where he might be tonight, call Columbus Police or your local law enforcement. We'll continue following this developing story in Columbus. Live from Columbus, Joey Barnes, WCBI News. Back to you, Tommy.
All right, Joey, thank you again. Xavier Westbrook, 6-year-old in Columbus. If anyone knows anything, give police a call. Well, someone in Columbus found a dead bald eagle. Columbus police say it looks like someone shot the eagle with a small caliber bullet. It was on 4th Avenue North near 15th Street North, right in Columbus. A conservation officer with the State Department of Wildlife has come in to investigate this. Our Selena Schaefer joins us now with more on why we're seeing more eagles.
Tommy, it's a symbol of our nation, and for decades it has been protected. Researchers refer to the eagle as one of conservation's biggest success stories. Many refer to it as the majestic bird. It's said that back in the 1950s, there were less than 450 pairs of eagles in the U.S. Thanks to conservation efforts, by 2007, there was a reported 11,000 breeding pairs spread all over the nation. Here in Mississippi, there are over 45 breeding pairs along major bodies of water. Forest and wildlife expert at MSU, Dr. Wes Berger, says it's not uncommon nowadays to see an eagle in our area compared to 10 or so years ago.
In the Columbus, Starkville, Golden Triangle area, we've got a number of breeding pairs. We've got breeding pairs of eagles at Noxubee National Wildlife Refuge, as well as up and down the Tennessee Tombigbee River. Today, eagles are common in the sense that it's not unusual to see eagles both during the migratory winter when they're migrating from northern latitudes, but we also see them year-round here because we do have resident breeding populations.
And eagles are protected by 2 federal laws, and in Mississippi they are also protected by state law. Violation of these laws could cost you up to a year in federal prison, as well as a hefty fine. Tommy?
Yeah, Selena, thank you. Serious consequences. Arraignment could be tomorrow or Wednesday for a man accused of killing his girlfriend. Kevin LeDexter Carter, he turned himself in this past weekend. It was after law enforcement was looking for him for about a week. He turned himself in to a deputy in Leake County, a relative of his. Winston County investigators say he shot and killed Angela Collier. The Sheriff's Department has not released what charges they're going to be filing against Carter. Right now, he's at the Winston County Correctional Facility. And there was a burglary in Winston County. Handguns are now missing from a local hardware store there. This is not the first time there's been a break-in at the Western Auto. ATF agent Joseph Frank says more than 10 handguns were stolen early this morning. He says people have been stealing handguns there a lot more recently, and there were about 5 handgun store burglaries there last year. There's currently a $1,000 reward for information. Union County deputies are looking for a man they say broke into a church and stole equipment. Sheriff Jimmy Edwards says they have a suspect, Chandler Rogers. They say he broke into New Hope Baptist Church. It's on County Road 51. There was a broken window at the church and a computer missing. They did find that computer, though, a short time later. Anyone with information can call the Union County Sheriff's Department. To an update on the potential new Lee County Jail. plans are moving forward this week. A site selection committee is going to soon start looking at possible locations for a new jail. It would include a criminal justice center. The state legislature, the House passed a bill last week. It would allow the county to avoid one of the current laws. That says it has to be within 1 mile of the courthouse, so they'd be able to build it anywhere. The current jail opened in 1995. It's been at capacity ever since. A new facility would also include space for the county morgue. Lee County Sheriff Jim Johnson says it's important to look at long-term use here.
Right now, the way that this thing is designed and the number, you've got 1 or 2 employees that are guarding probably 75 or 80 inmates, and that's just dangerous. And so with everything that's in retrospect of what we're looking at, we want to make sure that when we do design this, we want to be conscientious of the dollar, but we also don't want to design something that in 10 years we're back in the same shape like we are now.
Lee County Board of Supervisors President Phil Morgan says he wants to put the issue of a new jail and criminal justice center before taxpayers. That would be during congressional elections next year. All right, let's turn our attention to the weather. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson is with us. Keith, staying warm, but maybe some rain coming.
That's right. Warm this evening, Tommy, but these high clouds you see with our Alpha Insurance Skycam in downtown Tupelo foreshadow some changes by late tonight and tomorrow morning. Let's enjoy the nice warm weather while we have it this evening. Quiet as well. 76 in Tupelo, 75 in Columbus, 80 in Louisville. But there are those high clouds. There's the rain, though, in Louisiana. That's moving our way. We'll see that later on tonight. But this evening, as you venture on out, a lot of 60s here. Details in just a few minutes.
Keith, thank you. There's a new U.S. National Security Advisor. President Donald Trump made his pick before he returned home from his winter White House in Palm Beach. Many demonstrators used this President's Day holiday to protest, holding Not My President's Day rallies. CBS's Craig Boswell has more.
From New York to Chicago to L.A., protesters gathered for demonstrations against President Trump. The president is preparing a new executive order on immigration to replace his travel ban blocked in the courts. It still bans citizens from the 7 Muslim-majority countries in the original order, but will exempt green card holders and travelers already en route to the U.S. when the order is issued. The Department of Homeland Security is also ready to release sweeping new immigration guidelines, including expediting deportation proceedings and prosecuting parents who pay smugglers to have their children cross the border. The administration's immigration policies brought hundreds to D.C.'s Not My President's Day protest rally here in DuPont Circle.
Singling out Muslims having a religious test is entirely un-American.
President Trump spent the weekend searching for a new national security advisor and announced Army Lieutenant General H.R. McMaster will take the job.
He's a man of tremendous talent and tremendous experience. I watched and read a lot over the last 2 days. He is highly respected by everybody in the military.
The president chose McMaster after dismissing Mike Flynn for misleading White House officials about his conversations with the Russian ambassador. Greg Boswell, CBS News, Washington.
And former UN Ambassador John Bolton also interviewed for the National Security Advisor job. Back here at home, there's a major road repair project coming to Louisville. Mayor Will Hill says the city is working to pave 60 roads, a lot for a town that size. They also want to make improvements to 27 drainage sites. Money from the Federal Emergency Management Agency Disaster Fund is going to help here. It's a nearly $5 million project coming to the town. Our Quinton Smith has more on this, and that's coming up at 6 o'clock here on WCBI. Maybe you've seen all that dirt on a construction site just off Highway 82 west of Columbus. We have an update today. There's progress on it on the Communiversity. Burns Dirt Construction is on site. It's going to be a workforce training facility. It's a joint project with EMCC, Lowndes County, and the state of Mississippi. The project is supposed to cost around $42 million. It's a major project. It's going to serve students from Lowndes, Oktibbeha, and Clay counties. That'll be starting in the fall of 2018. As the debate over the Mississippi flag continues, there are protests in South Carolina over the Confederate flag. Why people are so upset on both sides of this issue, that's coming up next. Stay with us. Here in Mississippi, there's still a lawsuit opposing the state flag. It says the use of the Confederate battle emblem is offensive and damaging. People in South Carolina flew Confederate flags recently in Charleston. It was a protest of an upcoming speaker at a university. WCSC's Alexis Simmons has more on that and the counter-protests.
I'm on top of the parking garage near Marion Square, where the South Carolina Secessionist Party is flying one of 3 Confederate flags around downtown Charleston. There's also a counter-protester up here as well. The Secessionist Party is protesting the College of Charleston decision to host Bree Newsom, the woman arrested for climbing the flagpole at the State House and removing the Confederate flag in June of 2015. This came after the Mother Emanuel AME Church shooting, a racially driven crime. The Confederate flag officially came down at the State House that July. The party's members say they don't want Newsom speaking at a public college funded in part by taxpayers. Confederate flags were mounted on the back of trucks at the top of parking garages. There were also several protesters of the flag near Marion Square and on the garages as well.
It means a lot to me to honor my ancestors that stood up and fought for what they believed in. And I guess it runs deep in my blood because I don't mind standing up and fighting for what I believe in.
I am a great-grandson of a Confederate veteran. That cause is lost. And now it just represents something that was that peculiar institution. And it represents white supremacy, and I have to fight that.
That group checked with police beforehand to make sure they were within their rights to protest.
Well, it's been a warm winter Monday across North Mississippi. You can see some of those high clouds coming on in. Those high clouds will give us a chance for some of these showers in Louisiana for later tonight and tomorrow. Details are next.
Your first alert weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Well, today is a day for the dogs. Great weather for the dogs, for anybody else. The queen of the castle, my dog Aurora Lily, she stole my seat. She was soaking up the sunshine this morning. What a great day. It's been very, very warm for this time of year. Now, we will see some rain later tonight and for tomorrow, so plan on a wet Tuesday morning commute to work and to school, and then we'll clear that system out. It's going to be very warm and dry again for the end of the work week. We had a few 80s in the region today, likely more 80s later this week across Mississippi and Alabama. Hard to believe. Now, this is a live look with our Alpha Insurance Skycam network in downtown Tupelo, in downtown Columbus. We are looking back to the west. You can see those high cirrus clouds coming on in. Those are out ahead of the storm system coming our way. And let's show you some of those high clouds today. You've been out and about. You've noticed those coming on in, thickening as we've gone through time. That's a visible satellite. The temperatures, though, with the dry air in place, pretty nice and warm. 75 in Columbus right now, 80 still in Meridian, 76 in Tupelo, 77 in Jackson. Locally, very warm across the entire region, very warm. But I think what you can see out here across Louisiana and eastern Texas, temperatures in the low to mid 60s. That sticks out like a sore thumb because that is where we've had those showers and storms rumbling around the region today. You can see some very heavy rainfall out here as well. There's a little bit of thunder and lightning in this, nothing too terribly strong or severe at this point in time. Can't rule out some thunder or lightning strikes around here later tonight and tomorrow morning, but I think the big thing is going to be a little band of some steadier rain initially and then some scattered activity behind it as we get into the late morning and Tuesday afternoon. Now tonight, out ahead of it, we're looking at increasing clouds, a dry evening, and after midnight sometime those showers come on in, upper 50s to around 60 degrees. And here's our planner for tomorrow. We start out around 60, widespread showers likely, perhaps even into noon. By the afternoon hours, more scattered activity, temperatures cooler than today, about 10 degrees cooler, only in the middle 60s it would appear with those rain chances. So this evening, no issues whatsoever, but Futurecast picking up on this by 6:30 in the morning, give or take here. We're going to have that line of steadier rain out ahead of the area of low pressure coming our way. Give us a pretty good soaking, it would appear, and then some scattered showers lingering about into our Tuesday afternoon. Behind this system, though, things are going to be very, very warm. That goes away, and then we'll just have warm southerly flow for the rest of the work week out ahead of that system. That will give a pretty good storm system to the northern plains and Great Lakes. We will be in the warm sector, and that means more incredibly warm February weather. And look at this. We're looking at some upper 70s, low 80s again Thursday and Friday. Again, the rain chances tomorrow, they'll go away. The clouds will thin out by Wednesday. Very warm as we close out the work week. 60s for the weekend, but still a lot of sunshine. Pretty nice for the next 7 days.
Here's WCDI Sports with Tom Ebel.
2 wins away from making history. If Mississippi State Women's Hoops gets a W in its next 2, they'll set a program record for victories and clinch the program's first SEC regular season title. The Bulldogs, here's a look at the AP Top 25 poll just released. The Bulldogs stay at number 3 behind UConn and Maryland. UConn, of course, still on an 101-game win streak. It's anything but an easy 2-game stretch for the Bulldogs to end the year. They'll take on a now ranked number 22 Kentucky team in Lexington coming up on Thursday, and then come back home to face the Tennessee Lady Vols on Sunday in Starkville, hoping to wrap up a SEC regular season championship. To West Point we go. State champions Clayton Knight and Demario Edwards are heading to EMCC to continue their football careers. Knight and Edwards were terrific in the Green Waves 2016 state championship run. Knight throwing for 16 touchdowns for more than 1,300 yards, and Edwards catching more than 30 balls for 5 touchdowns, also adding 2 more TDs on the ground. Both Green Wave stars look forward to the challenge of being a part of Last Chance U.
Here it was championship attitude, and there it's championship attitude. So I think I see a lot of resemblance in the 2 programs.
I gotta make a name for myself. I gotta go out there and put in work, hard work like I know I can, so I can show the coaches and everybody else what I can do and go to the next level.
And check this out, number 18, UL Lafayette facing number 4, Alabama in softball. Former New Hope Trojan DJ Sanders gave the Tide nightmares on Sunday. Here in the bottom first, Sanders launches a moonshot out to left. That one's gone. The 2-run blast puts the Raging Cajuns up 2-0. And Sanders just wasn't done there. The first one was so good, she's going to do it one more time. She blasts another moonshot, helps the Raging Cajuns clinch a series victory over number 4 Alabama. She leads the Tide in RBIs and homers. Tommy, what do we got coming up next?
Yeah, a look at some pretty interesting king cake is what's coming up next. So Mardi Gras coming up. If you can't make it down to any of those parades, that's okay. A chance to get a taste in New Orleans. We'll tell you how to do that coming up next.
But yeah, I think this is filled with strawberry cream cheese, which is starting to become the phenomenon with king cake. It used to
I like.
In the Kitchen is brought to you by Obie's in Starkville. Fall in love with New Orleans style, taste, and tradition.
Mardi Gras is here. Fat Tuesday coming up next Tuesday. We're in the kitchen with Obie's. We want to talk about this delicious king cake that you're seeing in front of you. Andrew Mock is one of the managers at Obie's. And Andrew, this obviously a big part of what you guys do, your take on New Orleans style cuisine. So tell us about this king cake.
Well, first of all, next Tuesday is going to be Fat Tuesday again. And not everybody has a chance to go down to Mardi Gras for the parades and stuff during the month of February and early March. But next Tuesday, if you get a chance, come by Obie's, get yourself something good to eat. You know, it's our take on New Orleans style cuisine, and we'll throw you in a piece of cheesecake for free, or king cake for free. This is actually filled with cream cheese. That's what made me say cheesecake.
Okay, right, yeah.
So
we see different styles of king cakes. So this has, is it strawberry in it too?
Yeah, this is a strawberry cream cheese king cake made by the Cake Box in Starkville.
Okay.
Great place to go get desserts from. So
it's a great time too to celebrate everything that Mardi Gras is about. Obviously, some people will be going down to the coast, maybe going down to New Orleans. But either way, very festive. And look, it looks great. I mean, is this something that's very popular for you guys?
Yeah. Occasionally, we like to bring in a band. I know we've done that in the past. I know this year we're not doing that just because we want to open up as much seating as possible.